The night was darker than usual on the edge of the plains, the kind of darkness that swallowed sound and light, leaving only the whisper of wind through dying grass. The storm clouds rolled low and heavy over the wide horizon, promising rain, maybe even thunder. The rancher, Luke Callahan, was heading home from town, his horse trudging through the mud, his lantern barely cutting through the mist. Luke was a quiet man, a man who had buried both his parents before he turned 30, a man whose home was too big and too silent. He had stopped talking to people except when he needed to, and stopped praying when he realized no one was answering. Until that night. As he crossed the old bridge near the dry creek, he heard something faint like crying. Not the cry of an animal, not even the wail of the wind, but human, weak, trembling. He pulled on the reins. Whoa there! The horse stopped. Luke turned, holding the lantern higher. The light flickered on something, a small figure lying beside the fence, drenched in mud and rain. He climbed down, boots sinking into the wet earth. "Ma'am," he called softly. No answer, only a broken sound, a sob that barely escaped her lips. When he reached her, he froze. Her dress was torn, her hair soaked, her face bruised. One arm was shielding something beneath her body, a small bundle wrapped in an old blanket. "Good Lord," Luke whispered. She flinched at his voice, whispering, "Please don't hurt me. I didn't do anything wrong." He knelt beside her, his heart pounding. "Easy now. Ain't no one gonna hurt you. You're safe, all right." Her fingers tightened protectively around the blanket. "They said I brought shame. Said girls can't carry the family name. They took everything." Her voice cracked. "I only had my bobbies." Luke's breath caught. "Bobbies." She slowly uncovered the bundle, 3 tiny newborn girls, their faces pale but breathing, wrapped together in one worn cloth. He felt something shift inside him, a deep ache, a kind of fire he hadn't felt in years. "Who did this to you?" he asked quietly. "My husband," she whispered. "His brothers said I failed him. I tried to run, they found me. I hid in the woods until—" She couldn't finish. Her body trembled. Luke swallowed hard, his jaw tight with anger. "Can you stand?" he asked. She shook her head, tears spilling down her cheeks. "Please just take my girls somewhere safe. I'll be fine here." He looked at her, bruised, broken, still begging for her children instead of herself. That was the moment Luke made his choice. He took off his coat, wrapped it around her, and lifted her into his arms as the rain began to pour. "You're coming with me," he said firmly. She shook her head weakly. "You don't even know me." He met her eyes. "Don't have to. I know what I saw and what I won't leave behind." By the time they reached his ranch, the storm was roaring. He carried her inside, laid her by the fire, and fetched blankets. The bobbies cried softly, hungry and cold. Luke had never held a baby before, let alone 3, but that night he learned. He fed them with warm milk from the barn, changed their wraps, and kept the fire burning. When the woman awoke hours later, she saw him sitting beside the cradle he'd built out of a wooden box, his rough hands gently patting the smallest girl to sleep. Her voice broke. "Why are you helping us?" Luke didn't look up. "Because no one helped me when I lost everything." Her eyes softened. "What's your name?" "Luke Callahan." She nodded slowly. "I'm Mary." He finally met her gaze. "Well, Mary, you and them little angels are safe here. No one's gonna lay a hand on you again." Weeks passed. Mary healed. The bruises faded, but the fear took longer. Luke never asked questions, never pushed her to talk. He just worked the ranch, made sure there was food, and checked on the bobbies every night. Sometimes she'd wake to find him asleep in the chair beside their cradle, a giant of a man, gentle as dawn. One evening, as she watched him feeding the girls, she whispered, "You'd have made a good father." He smiled faintly. "Maybe, never got the chance." She lowered her eyes. "You had someone." "Long time ago," he said softly. "She died before we could have kids." Silence hung between them, warm, fragile. Then, almost in a whisper, she said, "You saved me, Luke." He looked at her, eyes deep and tired. "Nah, maybe I just found what I'd been missing." Months later, word spread through the nearby towns that the woman who shamed her family was alive. Men came looking for her, demanding Luke hand her over. He stood at the gate with a rifle in his hands. "Ain't no one taking my family," he said coldly. They sneered. "Family, those girls ain't yours." Luke's grip tightened. "They are now." The men left. They didn't dare return. That night, after he put the girls to sleep, Mary came to him with tears in her eyes. "You risked everything for me, Luke. Why?" He looked at her long and hard. "Because the world's already got enough men who hurt women. It needs a few who hold them up instead." She cried, pressing her forehead against his chest. Luke wrapped his arms around her gently. "You don't owe me anything," he murmured. "Just stay. Let this place be home.